Welcome today. This is Dr. Taveau, DRC, Sister T. When I use the titles, it's because I'm knowledgeable that they carry a lot of weight with certain people, not necessarily with me. Mine is an honorary in sacred music, but I really came from family with educated pedigrees, but it's not my style. I've researched it in the very first church before it got instituted in the 3rd century, and they were known as functions. So if I say teacher, prophet, pastor, apostle, all those things that are big, well known, even bishop and deacon that are listed in the Bible in Ephesians by Paul himself, none of those were famous titles to bash people or lord over. They were functions, and so I function in all of these 5, but I don't have to deal with it. I say it once in a while to play on it, to get people shocked and horrified, because it is a person who happens to be in a female earth suit for the journey. But other than that, so I'm talking on man-splaining, and my doctorate is really PhDs, plenty of them, pretty hard days, piled high and deep, plus I came from a background that was educated in the Bible, fear of the Lord, Billy Graham type, Presbyterians, Baptists, who are all white from the deep south, but I never heard one racial word, anti-racist word. I never heard any gossip. I didn't hear any control, and they worked it out, mutual submission and the fear of the Lord, the men and the women. So that is my background for being open to learning. Is this all really true out here in the United States today? Is what I say true? So you hear God on it and you put it, see if it's in the Bible. I'm looking at the famous chapter. It's really a big chapter, 2 Timothy 3. And I'm going to talk about men if I get to it. Hopefully my signal doesn't cut off, because this is spontaneous. But if you want to be a scholar, a noble Berean, to know what's in society today, what hurts people, what hurts yourself, what we might do ourselves to others, and, under the grace of God, we just don't want to. You can read the perilous times passage by Paul, a warning for the society. I thought it was, growing up, the society, chapter 3, 1 through 8, from such turn away, lovers of themselves. I may read it, but I thought it was for the society, and it is, but it's not just the society, it's for us, the church, and we don't want to be like that. I'm going to get to the males and females part, hopefully. The other part is the cure for this, the cure for 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 8, lovers of themselves, untrustworthy. Paul says to turn away. They may accuse you after you leave, saying, oh, she's offended, he's offended, because they do that. But no, you got to know your Bible better than they, and they're just off. All right. The cure for that is ironically, the logo scripture I was given in 1985 by the Spirit, 2 Timothy 3, 16 and 17. For all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the person of God may be complete, thoroughly furnished, equipped for every good work. All right, that's what we're all working on. We're not complete, so we need more teaching or instruction, doctrine, reproof, or correction for righteousness, because we don't want to be holier than thou, but we don't want to be less than. All right. So in the last days, perilous times will come. Well, can you look around and evaluate? Yes, they're here. We're in the last days. For men, that means people, men and women, will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unforgiving, unloving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness. That's what we're dealing with, a form of godliness. Oh, I love Jesus. And I'm talking to the church. I'm not talking to the other faiths. I'm talking to all colors of the church. I respect men. In fact, that's what I was saying when I got cut off before. I want to go first. When I'm teaching man-splaining in the ministry, I first of all was raised with a very healthy, great character, but a nice person and fun, a loving father who made me feel lovable. He loved my mother as Christ loved the church, but he wasn't religious about it. He He just was a person that really loved and respected her, his mother, her mother, all the women. And see, this is it. People out here, I run across you, certain Christians, you think of me, oh, especially, it's really the white ones. It's only been the white ones. Oh, it's a woman. And then they have this stuff, whatever their mom did, their old girlfriend, whatever it is in the religious teaching. Oh, it's a woman, less than, or our property, or conquest. It's just, isn't every day. Not with the men who bring their Bibles to the barista fellowship, but they're different ones. And so you can tell a difference, because I was raised healthy. I was raised love, and therefore I don't have to. I would love, like I said, when I get married for life. If it doesn't happen, they kick me out or something. That's different. But I am a respecter of men and of people. And the bottom line is, I don't see you as a man, quote, a man, my property, my type. I look at you first as a human person, and this is a human person's ministry. Let me qualify. I respect men, all ages, all races, all pedigrees, background, married. I treat you with great respect as a person first. You are a person, and Paul said to me through his Bible, he said, I determined not to know anything except Christ and him crucified. So this is it. You have to see, it's minefields, it's mindsets, it's legalism, it's fear, it's weakness. It's things that these people, including me and you, have on us before you meet them, and then you trigger it. And this is my finding, and that's why I'm mentioning to the United States that I never knew anything but healthy Christian men, ministry men, even if they don't like the woman preach. I've never cared. I never wanted to do this, frankly. I never had the desire, but I'm doing it. But I'm not over you, and you're not over me. And that's because they get into that. So the issue is, I have no bias against men. I never needed to be liberated. I remember when I was in high school or junior high in Norfolk, Virginia, that women's libs started to come out back then, and I thought, why do they need that? They're off. I thought I was down on women's lib, but after I went through my journey of the 2000s in celebrity ministry, where I used to be, not today, here, I now know why people fought to have somebody respect them. Treat them with respect equally. I mean, it is just something that triggered me to speak, to really teach it with force, to shake it up. All right, so we're for Christians and non-Christians. We're teaching to the Christian. We're for the Christian, but we're not. Unless we shape up and get it right and act decent and respectable everywhere, make an improvement on it, it will not be any good that if we say we're a Christian. So we talk to the Christian first and the church. All right. Down the list, it says you can look at your heart. In fact, if you have a Christian teaching ministry, training, pastor, leader, online, parent, you need to get this out and train your folk, your poor me, able folk, youth on up, to avoid this character trait. This dysfunction. This is now dysfunction, and I'm mentioning it. Paul saw it. Paul wrote it. I didn't, but I'm using it because it's part of revelation that is needed to talk to people. For when you visit different communities that say they're a Christian, that's what sparked this, was knowing I'd never have seen witch watching. I've never have seen misogyny. I've never seen somebody trying to play me because I was a woman. And that's not up here. But in my journey of 50 years closing, it wasn't really till the late 90s when celebrity got big and people started following famous faces. The trending, Sadducee, I call it Sadduceeism. Oh yeah, we know brother so-and-so, sister so-and-so's teaching them backward and forward, and nobody else is right. They are. That's what we're talking about. It bred this, a lot of this. So in Paul warning us about now of church going, your friends, our family, yours, you can go down the list and say, all right, checklist: lovers of themselves, lovers of money, Demases, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, cutting them off, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, no personal self-government, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure than lovers of God, but a form of godliness. Oh, we look so good. We are so cute in our movement. We're just so gifted. We're so talented. We can read your mind. We can psychic read your mind when you walk through the door and know if you're on the bad list, the good list, the witch list, the hot list. That's what we meant. Having a form of godliness but denying its power, and from such people, what? Oh, you better go to church and be under that person. Oh, you better go and you're not submit. Paul said, from such turn away, and I have. All right, so this is what we're talking about. But this is the point with the picture of the Christian world, but only if the shoe fits. It says, in the last days, for there are the sort, meaning men, there are the sort. Because I saw this, I literally saw this in a portion, not all of the deep Southwest. All right, for there are some who creep into households and make captives of gullible women, loaded down with sins and by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. I want to zone in on this. All right, so what I had always heard, that there would be people, never thought about Christian men, there'd be people who would want to go after women because they knew they were weak and they were predatory. I just never thought it would be, that would be in a part of the body floating around in different sections and corners of the Christian folk. All right. So it says they're going to be gullible women. All right, so these gullible women, and that ties in with my other teaching, that the men who have perverted the gospel, who are prone to this, will say that, we were called that all women are weak because Eve sinned, so she's easily gullible, a victim. She is easily seduced, our conquest, and this is what we're bringing this out for, to train against it. Really, it needs to be done. Youth on up. All right. Pastors included. Certain ones. Not up here. Hopefully. All right. So, for of this sort, there are sorts in the body. Sorts who are males. Christian men who are ministers, lay, leaders or not. At the top, at the bottom. All right. Dysfunctional, not true, but evil character. They're in their love with himself. It's like an Eli Template priesthood of 1 Samuel 1-2, the same culture as the Levitical patriarchy. Not all Levitical patriarchs are matriarchs like that, but they are the same Eli Template priesthood of opportunists and misogynists that go after women, like Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, who were his second in command on the staff and the team. I saw this, the big boss, big boy, males club of ministry, and a lot of it has been the patriarchy. And not all men are, let's put it this way, it's not all white. But I will tell you that you can have a patriarchal build, and you can be a man that's true and not like this, but it's not the patriarchal anchor disposition like a Moses, a prophet, or something like that. It's the character, a heart. It is the false teaching, it is the victimization, and it is the false authority. So Levitical patriarchy is usually the one, and you can have mild degrees where they don't do that, and mild degrees where they make their, they keep their little bastion of females out in the corner, So I've seen this, you've seen it, but anyway, we know it's there. So teach your people, all right? We're teaching so that the church does not resemble this, the world will. All right, for out of those, there are those men who creep into households. Oh, I met you on the dating app, or I'm married, but I met you on the dating app, or I am super sly and I need you to be my, come in for counsel or be my prayer warrior, or just hitting on you in the audience, just hitting on you because that is shocking. Don't be shocked. That's how it is. Certain places. All right. For there are people in the ministry, in the Christian community, who creep into households and make captives of gullible women. Let's talk about the gullible women. All right. So first of all, the minefield is, women we are over all women leadership. We are over all the women. Therefore, it was like Eve sinned. They're prone to be weak. They are second rate to men. because they're the weaker vessels. They quote that verse to themselves. They're the weaker vessels. That means they're easily fooled, easily enslaved, easily led, and we know it, so we're going to take advantage. This is what we have found. All right. So we have the minefields of the saints. Well, they're really not saints if they're doing that, but they've got the title that they are, and they wear that proudly, okay, because that commands more women or people. And these days, it may not just be women they're after, it may be all kinds, young and old, babies. I'm sorry. It is sick. So they're good at wielding their persona. They're wielding their way in, and the women are gullible. Why? Let's talk about why the women are gullible. What you need, people, is to train the women when they're girls and babies not to be like that. You train the men from the babies on the youth and teenhood, and that there is no double standard for men. There's no double standard for women in the ministry, in Christianity, and in life. All right? And that is in society. It will always be fighting that, but you can work on it in your church and your family. All right? So there are people who are looking for the women. They're looking for them. They look down on the women. They're mean to the women. They want to control the women. They use their wiles and their power, their money and their show to get the women. And so we got to train the men not to do that in the church, in your fellowship. I mean, you got to be with TV media, and you don't know what they're doing at home on their phone and their cell phone and watching all this stuff. It's in there, believe me. Secondly, you got to train the women. You get the girls. Now, the girls and the men, if they're not raised well and cherished and valued. See, one reason I have not, people might think it because I guess they are that bad in the church, which they are. They may think, oh, she's been sleeping around. Oh, she's done this. No, I haven't. I would not do that. I was not raised around it. I'm very careful and picky. I was married forever in 32 years, no other person. That was taken from me because after a heart operation, he'd had he'd had issues, a lot of issues, but he was not raised well by his father well, and he didn't treat people well either when he didn't want to. So I grew up very careful and respectful and forgiving, and I'd still be there today had I not been axed, like I said, by phone. And no say, no voice, it was a Malachi 2 divorce. The other one was, if the unbeliever wants to go, let them. But I'm glad that I learned the experience and I forgave, but you have to be very careful now. And especially if I was never on the rebound. I honor my dad, I honor the Lord, I honor good people, and I honor the former ex because he had very good qualities till the end. All right. So I was trained by grace not to be needy for men. And I'm shy with men because I'm very careful with men and I respect men, but I don't want anybody, unless God sends me my person, that's the word for today. I don't want anybody because I've seen the very good, my father, and I've seen the very bad, but I also don't want to be, missing it by getting confused because it's very emotional out there, when you do that kind of thing. So I'm very classically prim and proper, but I'm not. I'm open for when the right one is there, but I have to know it by my spirit, not by looks. I don't feel the heebie-jeebies, the emotional gooey stuff. I like to, but I first pre-qualify and say, is it spiritually from the Lord? This is a Deborah, getting off track a bit, this is a Deborah office, and a Deborah has to have a Lapidoth to make her feel